Today on the radio program, and just a few minutes ago here on Fox, I announced that we are doing a sequel, if you will, to our Restoring Honor event in Washington, D.C. last year in August. This one is called Restoring Courage, except it's not going to be held in the United States. It's going to be held in Jerusalem. And you'll see that we haven't put the final date in yet. It's amazingly complex to do something overseas. Who would have thunk it? I know a lot of people in America, at least I believe many people in America, feel that they are tired of being the world's policeman. They are tired of paying for everybody. They're tired of being asked to come in with boots on the ground. And a lot of people are saying, let the people in the Middle East solve it. And I used to feel the same way, except then 9/11 happened. And then I started doing my own homework and really looking into things. It can and will reach America. It already is. There's a class in Arizona we told you about last week. Kids are fighting to keep this horrible curriculum in school. It calls for the death of the invaders. That would be white people, the overthrow of the U.S. government. Mexico is the oppressed and America is the great oppressor. It's the same thing that they're saying about Israel in the Middle East. Except this is the great Satan, Israel is the little Satan. We have the mayor of Jerusalem, Nir Barkat, who has been so gracious to help open up his city for people, hopefully from all around the world, that will join us this August. You know, we were talking before we went into the break that people have this view of what's going on in the Middle East, and you say the facts don't fit it. And so we have a historic opportunity. What do you mean?
Well, look at what's called the Arab Spring. Nobody knows where that's headed. Look what's happening with the rise of the Hamas and this deal between the Hamas, which believes in the destruction of Israel, to the front stage. It looks like the Middle East is a big minefield. And people that are looking for resolving the conflict, it doesn't fit. The details, the things that are happening doesn't fit, because right now, when one part wants to kill the other and the other is peace-seeking, you cannot resolve the problem unless we get kicked out, which we don't intend to let happen. So right now, I do think that the right approach in the Middle East is manage the conflict rather than resolve it, and focus and see how they change their education to the youngsters, how they train their kids to seek peace like we do in our schools, like you do in America. I think that we have to make sure that we are dealing with a partner that wants to live next to us.
Do you believe you're dealing with an honest partner in the United States anymore? Because I'm concerned that the United States is not necessarily, our allies have changed. We have changed. Our administration is changing our allies, I fear. And it's not being, I mean, when I hear the president say to the people in the Middle East, you've got to go and get involved in this democracy, in this new spring, I think it's a minefield. Why would you possibly tell everyone, run through that minefield?
Yeah. It's prudent to watch your steps and walk very, very slowly if you enter a minefield. And don't take too many risks, unless you want, you know, your foot blown off.
Right.
And I don't think anybody wants that. So we must focus on defining what's good and what's bad. I think that
is there good and evil?
Of course there is, and we must define. And I think that the fact that the U.S. And we should applaud the president for taking out Osama bin Laden. And by the way, the Hamas blasted the U.S. for killing a martyr, a Muslim.
Right.
And so you have to define and articulate who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. And Israel is defending itself.
I'd like to go there. We're going to take a break, and I'd like to come back and ask you two questions. One is a question that I think Americans, like I said, are tired. And we're sending aid all over the world, I don't know if you saw the beginning of the show, we're broke. We ain't good for that. People are going to have to get over it. We can't afford it anymore. But they want to be supportive. Can you be, question number one when we come back, can you be supportive of Israel and not send troops over or cash over? And the second question, I completely forgot. So maybe we'll just do that. That one. We'll be back in a second. Back with Nir Barkat. He is the mayor of Jerusalem. Final minutes with him. And I asked you at the break, can you be supportive of Israel without sending troops and without sending dollars?
For sure, without sending troops. Israel knows how to defend itself. I think the relationship is a strategic relationship. One should look at the strategic relationship not in a tactical manner. And by the way, it's a two-way street. Today, Israel is supporting and helping with our knowledge of how to fight terror and other things we do, totally transparent to the U.S. So it's a mutual relationship. It's not a one-way relationship. And we view this strategic alliance with the U.S. As the most important strategic alliance for Israel. And we hope and believe that by shared values, by shared principles, understanding that we're the only democracy, the real democracy in the Middle East, we have so much more in common than differences. And that's the way it should stay.
When I was over there, I remembered the second question. It's about good and evil. When I was over there last week, I said to you a minute ago that I felt that people were awake. They knew, and that tends to happen when people are trying to kill you or run you into the sea. But good versus evil, I'm surprised at how many people can't see the difference between the two. If you were trying to say to people, no, look here, and show them the difference, what would you say the difference is in the situation in Israel, where you could point to it and say, good, evil?
First of all, look at the intentions of people. If the intention is to kill your neighbor, that's evil. If the intention is to live peacefully, and you could prove and show that indeed, and that's the situation today in Jerusalem, that you have freedom of religion. Not only my religion, I'm a Jew, a proud Jew, a mayor, but I am serving the Christians and the Muslims in the city of Jerusalem. And I serve them to the best of my ability and to enable them to practice their faith their way. I believe that's opposite of evil. Check the intentions, what people want to accomplish. We want to accomplish opening up and enabling people to enjoy the city of Jerusalem. That's why tourism is going up. That's why you had a good time when you came to Jerusalem. Yeah. That's why if people, rather than try and protest, come through the airport peace-seekingly to see the beauty of the city of Jerusalem, we will let them do that.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get Code Pink to do that. All right.
And so look at the intentions of people. The evil is the intention. And unfortunately, if you check people's intentions, you'll understand what's happening in the Middle East.
Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will see you in August.
I'm happy to host you.
Thank you. Back in just a second. Tonight I want to give you two stories that highlight the choice that we're facing between good and evil right now. Highlight courage and compassion versus rage and revenge. On 2020, last Friday, a horribly burned woman, Stephanie Nielsen, was profiled. She's 29 years old. She's the mother of 4. She was severely burned in a plane crash. The only thing that was left unburned, I think, were her toes. On her blog, this woman talks about God and how grateful she is to be alive. On her blog, she talks about how she was at the supermarket and she overheard some kids say something insensitive like, "Look at that lady, she looks like a monster." Well, here's what Stephanie said on 2020 on Friday.
Some people are very rude and stare at you. The little kids who are just being honest, pointing and saying mean things that are mean and hurtful to me, but they're just little and they don't know. I knew that I had a self-worth that was greater than my outward appearance, but I don't dwell on it. Just that's how it is, and this is how it is, and it will probably get better, but if it doesn't, I'm fine. I have a beautiful life. That's what's beautiful.
She's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. My gosh. This woman has chosen to take this adversity and make it into something positive. Now, let me show you the other side. It's this woman in Iran. This is a horror story. She rejected the marriage proposal of a man who was stalking her, so the man poured a bucket of acid all over her, blinding her and severely disfiguring her. She was a beautiful woman as well. Now, in Iran, justice for this kind of crime calls for an eye for an eye. So the man was sentenced to a punishment of acid being poured into his eyes. Naturally, the international community was outraged and called the sentence barbaric, which has delayed the government of Iran from carrying out this sentence. For her part, the Iranian woman, she is upset about this delay. She said, quote, "I want people like him to know that they will suffer forever if they cause someone such suffering." She wanted to do it herself. Instead, she was worried that she'd get the acid on her hands, so doctors were going to do it for her. As understandable as it is for her to feel that way, the fact is we all have a choice. We can choose hatred and vengeance, or we can strive for something higher, something better. It all comes down to what's going to help us solve the problems we face: vengeance and hate, or compassion, love and courage. It's time for us, like Stephanie Nielsen, to choose the better part. It all starts with us as individuals. Choose courage and compassion as we strive to heal our nation and ourselves. Choose the better part, compassion and courage. Because two wrongs don't make a right, period. Never. They never do. The choice between good and evil is becoming, at least to me and my friends, more and more apparent. You have to actively choose and restore courage in your own life. You'll need the courage to do the hard thing, the hardest thing possibly of all, to break the cycle. I want to tell you a couple of things, and I put this up at glennbeck.com. These are the things that I've asked you to do in the last 2 years. The 9/12 Project, which was get together with people, know that you're not alone. Take the 40-day and 40-night challenge. Be able to say, with firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, the last line of the Declaration of Independence. And then E4. Do these things. Do these things. Because, I don't know if you heard this, but there's a guy who says the end of the world, he definitely knows, is this Saturday. In case it's not the end of the world Saturday, go to glennbeck.com for all of the details on restoring courage in Jerusalem. And sign up for my free daily newsletter from New York. Good night, America.